All right, let's continue. The second effect I want to show is this gradient or triangle rotating effects, and it has some transparency and it's changing size and it has some cool animation, like this ease in and ease out effects, which we see a lot in various sci-fi type motion. And I'm gonna dive inside, and I need to explain a concept called a modulo function. So let me dive inside and just use a point number. And I'm gonna use a modulo function, or let's use a frame number. I think it's best to create a point. Let's add a point. Let's create a point vol, and let's dive inside. I'm gonna use a modulo function and connect it into the frame. And I'm going to connect this into the color, but we just need to watch the value. Okay, I'm going to have this always be here, and let's dive inside. And if I hit play, you see right now nothing is happening. But we have this function connected to the to the color, and it's driven by the frame. So let's change this to 10. So now it gives us back a value of 1. And if I hit play, you will see that it goes from 1 all the way to 9, and then it stops. And then it goes back to 0, and then it goes all the way to 9 and stops. So this is ideal to create a repeating sequence. If I want something to happen every 20 frames, but not just happen, it gives me a starting counter. We can do that. So if I want to animate something, let's say I create a line. Let's copy this line. And I'm going to create a transform. And I'm going to animate this line to rotate from 1 to 20, 360 degrees. So if I play the timeline, you will see now that it does this cool rotation. But I want this to repeat over and over. So what can we do? I want to manually build, animate this. We can use a time shift and say my frame is equal frame modulo, which is this percentage sign 20. What that will give us back is a value that goes from 1 all the way to 20 and then snaps back to 0. See? Because we're using that modulo function. And so we can get something now that repeats. And I believe it's skipping frame 1. So now if I play it, it should give us, starts at 0 and goes all the way to 20. I need to add parentheses here, sorry. So if I go back, that should be 0. And then if I play through, it's gonna go to 19 and then 0 again. So if I wanted to exactly loop at 20, I can change this to 21, and that should do it. All right, so let's say I want the animation to look different, because that's really what I want. I want to change this, and I can select the curve and change it. Let's say I want the start to happen quickly, and then I want it to take longer and then get snappier, like more ease in and more ease out. So if I hit play, we get this. So that's how the repeating curve rotation is done, through this. Same thing here. That's a frame offset to just shift it, and then every 26 frames it loops over. And then I'm copying that over to the point, which is here. So I'm just copying it over, and it starts at frame 100. So let me go to frame 100, and now we have the curve. And if I look through the camera, you will see it come by and it's rotated. All right, the second thing is I'm doing a copy of the exact same effect, except that it's 3 frames before, or this one is 3 frames before and this one is current. So what we can get with that is, let's say this is the curve at this frame, and then I can use another time shift and say my frame -3. So now I have the curve at 3 frames before. I can merge them together And now I have two states and they're both rotating, right? Very cool. And we can just skin them. If we want to get a surface, we can skin them. And now we have this cool rotating surface. All right, let's continue. So obviously we don't want to skin them because we need to find the edge that connects them, right? We need the curve to intersect properly with the surface. So let's, what I'm going to do is I'm going to isolate the two tip surfaces, use an add node, resample that, and then ray that onto my geometry. And then do the same thing where I query the second location of the center, and then use a curve, copy that curve onto the points. Let me move it back here, something like that. And then again, I use the second input to move them all to the center. So I could have done it here probably. This is exactly like we did before. So I get the second position to drive the normal, and then I copy this curve, and I'm grouping the tip or the bottom of it, and then only applying this to the tip. So I'm moving all the bottom points of these curves, all of them here, to the center. And now we have many curves because, yeah, we have many curves because this resample, when I did it, it had many points. And then what we can do now, because they are matching now, right? I can skin them and get a nice surface, a perfect surface. But the tip is matching now compared to the other one, which does not. And then I'm using the red color to drive the alpha, so it looks transparent. And the alpha is generated from this. So when we did the add or the transfer here, there's a curve U attribute or a U attribute, which looks like that gradient. So let's put down a color node. So let's say U, you can see here. And then if we run it through this, we can change it inside the VOP, obviously to red, but that is the one coming from the projected curve. That's the same value. And then we skin that, use the red channel to drive the alpha, and then that's our second effect. And I think that's going to be enough for this week. We're just past 5 hours, I think now. So the last one is the expanding circles, and they're done in a very similar way, except the animation or the way they're being emitted is done via a particle sim. So there's a particle being emitted every few frames, every 8 frames. We emit one particle, and then that particle has a lifespan, and that lifespan is used to drive the scale of these circles. So that's really how it's done, but overall it's very similar to the previous effects, and it does not intersect with the tunnel, so it just propagates and fades away. All right, so yeah, this is extra, and then these are the two main effects, and then we have the remaining other layers is when we start doing rendering. So we'll cover that very soon. Thank you guys for watching, and see you in a bit.